Okay, so today I want to talk about waves. What creates waves? What is the difference between a 1 foot wave, a 2 foot wave, a 3 foot wave, and why it matters? But first, I've got to orientate you to what you're about to see. Over here, you will see a 3-story building with a collapsed roof and 2 black windows on the right hand side of it. That will come into play later, but I just want to show you we're in the same area roughly we were when the next video plays. So one thing that has been reported is that there were 2 to 4 foot waves on the night in question. And so far, I have seen no evidence to prove or disprove that. And I'm going to explain. Right now, we are facing east, northeast. Roughly east, northeast. Okay? All the boats are in line. We're all facing the same way. The wind is coming from the same way. And we can see the water is flowing across. 1.5 foot waves roughly it looks like. Okay, so as we watch these waves, we ask ourselves what creates waves and why is it different in Anchorage than in an ocean? And in an ocean, here's a video of the Abaco Inn Oceanside, courtesy of Ashley Banfield. And you can see the waves are just pounding the shore. And those waves are pounding the shore. Okay. Now the ocean obviously works different than an anchorage. And the reason for that is a term called fetch. When we are facing east, we don't have to worry about too many waves, but we still have to worry about waves a bit. And that's because as we come up here, we can see the distance between where we are here and shore over there. As the wind comes down those mountains, it picks up the water, and my finger on focus. As it comes down the mountains, it picks up the water and starts forming the waves as they get back to us. And you can even see the color variance up there. And you can see, if I zoom in, how the water gets calmer the closer it is to shore on a wind side. Okay, so wind is coming from, yeah, I did not go to film school, guys. So the wind is coming from the buildings, over the mountains, over the buildings, and then the waves pick up as it works its way back away from land. And then if we look out here, we can even see this boat, thank you, sir, just plowing through the waves the further it is from wind. And that's because of a term called fetch. For wind to create waves, it needs time to pick up the water and move it. So one thing that I was trying to figure out is how long does it take to form 2 to 4 foot waves? And there are 3 factors involved on how waves actually grow. One is the wind speed. We do know that night that there was wind speeds that were recorded anywhere from the 18 to the 25 range. The duration, how long those wind speeds were. We do know from some camera and some instances that it was calmer earlier in the evening and increased later based on the search and rescue guys' reports. But then there's also a thing called fetch. And fetch is the uninterrupted distance the wind blows over water. So right at the western edge of Elbow Cay, the fetch is almost 0. So that's saying as you're coming out of the Abaco Inn, and you make that left, you're on the western edge of Elbow Cay. There, the waves are small. As the wind keeps pushing it across to lubbers, it's going to pick up those waves. It's going to make the waves bigger and stronger. But that's why you want to tuck in as a boater to the western side of an island with easterly winds. So the question remains is, if there was 2 to 4 foot waves, how far out in the channel do you have to be to get there? Now, I am not saying that, AI models are the end all be all, but they do know the science. It's the same as looking up a science book. And remember that Sea of Abaco between Elbow Cay and Lubbers Cay is at most between 1 to 2 miles. Now this is pretty standard conditions for us out here. This is normal anchorage environment, especially for St. Martin. Now what I want to show next is a video we took about 3 months ago when the wind switched from the north. So in the video, all the boats are going to be orientated and facing that way, and the back ends are going to be facing that building over there, which is why I orientated it to you. And what that created was really big waves and really bad conditions out here. Because as we turn and we look to the north, there is no land out there that is blocking the wind. So as the wind comes from the north to us, it's just picking up that water and compounding it and making it bigger. And that's the amount of distance it needs to create the waves, and how big the waves get is fetch. So the closer you are to land on a anchorage where the wind is coming from, the calmer it's going to be. The further away from you get from that land, the more time the wind has to pick up those waves and make them stronger. So in this video, you're about to see me and my friend Josh go and help a boat that drug. But this is what 2 to 4 foot seas looks like in an anchorage in 10 feet of water, right here in this spot, slightly more over there.
Anyone got names of the boats?
Now, what I want you to be focusing on when you see these boats pop up in picture is watch their masts bobbing up and down. Watch how much the boats are moving. Now, whether it's night or day, you're going to see those masts bouncing around.
Ride the waves. Oh, look, there's another person coming out to help. Oh, it's a frickin' party. It's a Save the Boaters party.
Another thing to note in this video is that how many boaters ended up coming out to help. This is what I talk about when I say that the boating community will respond in any situation, and this is just one instant of that.
It's hard to focus because we're moving so much right now. Okay, it looks like they are hooking up right now. Yep, Blaine's grabbing a hold of the boat. He's on the boat. I don't know if we're
And even though from a water perspective, you can't really see just how high those waves are, you can see how it reacts to everything in the background. So if you're watching video from this current event, even night shots or anything, look at how the masts and the boats are moving in comparison to land. And this long distance shot doesn't give a very good representation of it. But what I want to show is when you're looking, or when you see another video, or when somebody zoomed in, watch the boat's movements. That's going to tell you more about wave condition at the situation than anything else.
to try to help. It looks like whatever we're doing, we're getting them apart. Oh, it looks like we're moving the cat. Okay, good. Cat is moving. Oh, that's how freaking crazy these waves are. Look at that cat moving up and down. That's what we're doing right here. Getting past that boat, putting out in its own spot. Look at this. And the owners have no idea this is happening. Oh, my husband. Oof, he disappeared there for a second.
So what was the point of this is to show you what 2 to 4 foot waves look like in an anchorage, how waves are formed in an anchorage, what conditions are needed, and what it looks like from a water level in those conditions. Again, these videos are made to show people who are not on the water what the different conditions can be out here, what we're talking about when a certain boater will say it's for sure this way, or another boater will say it's for sure that way. You got to take into consideration every aspect of what goes into what you're doing. So in conclusion, I just wanted to show that waves need time to form. They need the 3 factors: heavy winds sustained over time, and the distance across water to push the water. So I do these videos so that, again, like I said, I think a few just seconds ago, if you don't know the water, there are captains out there who'll be like, I have been in that Abaco Sea and it has been horrendous. Yes, the Abaco Sea is the whole area around Marsh Harbor. I don't know if it pertains to Aunt Pat's Bay. I don't know if it pertains to the Abaco Inn or White Sound Channel. There are people with way more experience than me, but I'm showing how the science works in the area in relation to the factors we know from that night.